Hi guys, welcome to Thinker Learning, and today we are going to look into the module of simplifying AC circuits. So, all of you are familiar with what AC circuit mean. So, let's dive deep into the chapter and understand what exactly it portrays or why is it necessary to use AC circuit and what advantage does it have over a DC circuit. Before starting off with the mainstream of AC circuits, let's understand few terms relating to the AC circuit. One, let's draw the graph and a wave. So, what does a wave got to do with AC circuit? You all might have that question. Well, an AC circuit is defined by a wave alternating. It has a positive value, it has a negative value. Like here it has a positive value and then it becomes a negative value in succession and it goes on. So the entire alternating current, the entire concept of the alternating current revolves around a wave form or a wave, whatever it is. It's a wave, all right? Now, there are few words or terms used in waves that you need to know before understanding anything else regarding this chapter. The first word being amplitude. What is an amplitude? You have heard of it. You must have forgotten, or you still know it, but still we are going to brush up the concept. So, do you see these dotted lines out here? These are amplitude. It's the distance of the maximum portion. Okay, so these are the maximum portion. It's the distance from the base axis or the mid axis to the maximum portion, the distance between the mid axis and the maximum portion. Okay, it can also be expressed in different words, like it's the distance from the axis to the crest. This is the crest, and it's the distance between the axis and the trough. All right, so you must be thinking, why is this guy telling crest and trough always? What does it all what does it mean? What does crest and trough mean? Okay, so crest is the maximum portion of this mountain like structure. All right, just think of it that way. And trough is the minimum portion or the portion located at the base of this valley. All right, so that's a easy concept. And now let's move on to the next term, frequency. Now, what is a frequency? Frequency is the number of cycles of wave that is covered in a particular second or a single second. All right, number of cycles per second. That's the simplest. Now, what is a cycle? Usually, we associate cycle with a round thing. Okay, so that moves from one, like that moves, and still there is no change in that round or circular object, but it moves from one distance to another, right? So there is a movement. All right, there's a movement, and if you fix one point on the circle, when it moves, that point reaches a mean position or another particular point. If we fix that point in the base, while rotating, it goes to the top and then comes back to the base, right? So the similar concept applies here too. So the wave starts from here, it goes to the top, to the crest, to be more technical, then comes back to the point over here, goes back to the trough, and then again comes back to the point. Understand? So this is what frequency means. Okay, so this is one cycle. All right, this, if the cycle is completed in 1 second, That means the frequency is 1. Okay. Now, you may ask, what if this cycle as well as this cycle is completed in 1 second? It means 2. The frequency is 2. And frequency is expressed in hertz. That's the SI unit of frequency. And amplitude, it's the distance. So usually what we give for distance, meter. That's what we give for amplitude. Alright, and amplitude is denoted by A. Alright, now the next, wavelength. What is a wavelength? Wavelength is, did you see those thick lines, thick red lines that just appeared? Exactly, that is wavelength. Alright, so wavelength is also a distance between either two crests or two troughs. So these are two crests, adjacent crests. So there's this distance between two adjacent crests or two adjacent trough. That is wavelength, and it is denoted by lambda, and it is expressed in meter because it's a distance value. Alright, now the next, bandwidth. So this bandwidth is one of the most important terms used in this module. It does not have a significant impact on whatever we are going to study the next, but then it will have impact on you to judge what kind of a wave it is. All right, so bandwidth is nothing but this, the green figure which has just come up. It portrays, or it shows what a bandwidth is. Clear? So these are few important terms, and we'll study more terms in the following slides. Relationship between one physical quantity and the other. Frequency. You know what frequency is. You know what a frequency is. We had discussed in the previous slide. Now, there is this one very, very important relationship between frequency and another physical quantity. What is it? Let's check it out. F is equal to 1 by t. Yes. F is equal to 1 by t, and t is the time period. Alright? It's the time period, and time period is usually the time taken for to finish one rotation or anything. It depends, okay, what time period actually means. But this is one of the most important relationship you're going to study in this chapter, because from this relationship we can find a lot of different other relationships, because this forms a base for other relationships in of physical quantities. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So here I'm going to introduce to you the Bose equation of AC circuit. Bose equation. Why is it called a Bose equation? It is called a Bose equation because this equation is extremely essential for the entire AC circuit, for learning the entire AC circuit. All right? This is a very important equation that you have to know in order to understand the entire concept. So let's look into what this Bose equation is. I of current is equal to I max sine theta. What is I max? What is that? I max is the maximum current. We all know that current is denoted by I and has the unit SI unit of ampere. So here the maximum current, okay, that's denoted by I max. It's supposed to be I subscript max, or it can be written this way also, there's no harm. I max sine theta, where theta is the phase angle. Alright, phase angle is the angle usually used to mention the angle of an AC circuit. Alright, so it is the phase angle. This can be written as V of current is equal to V max sine theta. There is no harm in writing that way also. Now, theta can also be written as omega t. Alright, so while substituting omega and t, omega into t, instead of theta, we get another equation of the same form. I of current is equal to I max sine omega t. Alright? So this is the same equation with different terms. Alright? So either of this can be used because it depends on the values given or the values you already know. Alright? So you can use either of these, or you can use another equation of the same term which is formed by expanding omega. Omega can also be written as 2 pi f, right? 2 pi f. F is the frequency. Omega is the angular frequency. It can be written as 2 pi f. Now while substituting 2 pi f instead of omega, we get another equation of the same form serving the same reason or same concern. So we have another equation like I current is equal to I max sine 2 pi f and t. The t has come directly from here, while 2 pi f substitutes omega. Alright. So this is another equation which which is used for denoting, like it is used for finding out the same thing. Okay, same thing as the other two. Now we all know the famous equation, the famous relation, f is equal to 1 by t. Why don't we apply that here and get another equation? There you go. I current is equal to I max sine 2 pi by t, and again the t has come from here. So this is such an amazing thing, right? We have 4 equations which literally gives you the same thing. So you can use either of them, and it entirely depends on you, on what values do you have, like what values are given to you, or whatever you derive from the machine or from the circuit, you can use it here. Alright, and it depends on your ease. If you have t, don't go and find theta over here because you already have a direct equation where you can substitute t. Alright, now moving on. Average value. So till now we studied few amazing and exciting terms and the exciting definitions or the exciting explanations that they had. Now we'll move on to one step further and incorporate everything into this. Alright? So average value. Let's have a look at the definition of what an average value is. Average value of an alternating current is that value of direct current. Okay, fine. This looks confusing. Just like every other definition in the textbook, this looks confusing too. Let me break it down and make it more simple. All of you know what a DC current means. That's our first ever acquaintance with electricity. We must have studied that in class 6th, 7th, 8th, direct current. Okay, so this is something of a direct current is one of the most easiest topics ever, and we all are extremely familiar with what it is, and you also know what circuit is, right? So we can remember average value in this way. Average value is associated with same charge. All right, so when a DC current flows through a circuit between 2 points at a particular interval of time, then a charge is created. All right. Now this charge is one value. We can keep it as XYZ or a number, either any number. Now let's introduce AC current to the circuit. And this AC current wants to flow through the same point where the DC current flew, and the same time period. So when the AC current flows through between the same points in that circuit for a similar time period, then again a charge is produced. If the charge produced by both AC and DC current is the same, then the current value is known as average value. Alright? Now let's move on to something which is more interesting than average value. Before moving on, let's revisit what an average value is so that you will understand the things better. I'll explain again. DC current. Okay, so when a DC current flows through a circuit between 2 points at a particular interval of time, then a charge is created, right? This charge has a value, obviously. Now let's introduce AC current into the circuit. So this AC current is adamant. Okay, I want to follow the same path in the circuit that DC current also went through. So AC current flows through those 2 points at a similar time, and that also gives a charge. So if the charges of both AC and DC current are same, then that current is known as the average value of current. Alright. Now the next, root mean square value, which can otherwise be called as RMS value. Let's have a look at the definition which is given in the textbooks. Again, as usual, the textbook definitions are over the top and we can't understand it. So let me break it down and let me make it clear for all of you guys. So there's this DC current. Alright? This DC current flows through a circuit, and you know that. The first complex concept we studied in electricity was heating effect of electric current. So when DC current flows through the circuit, obviously there's a heat produced, right? So the amount of heat produced or the heating effect of that circuit is similar to the heating effect produced when an AC current flows through the circuit. Then that value of current is known as root mean square value. Alright, let me explain once again. When a DC current flows through the circuit, a heating effect is produced, and that heating effect has a particular value. Now when an AC current also flows through the circuit, even it produces a heating effect, and there is a value for it. So if the values of the heating effect are same, or if it produces the same kind of heating effect, then it is known as that kind of current, that value of current is known as root mean square value. Alright, now moving on to the next, form factor. We all know what an RMS value is. RMS value is associated with heating effect, and average value is associated with charge. Form factor is nothing but it's just the utilization of both the concepts. Okay, form factor is nothing but the ratio between RMS value to the average value. Form factor is nothing but the ratio between the RMS value and the average value. Alright, so is that clear? Now let's look at the peak factor. Form factor, and now it's peak factor. Peak factor also utilizes the previous concepts. Peak factor is nothing but the ratio between maximum value and RMS value. It's the ratio between maximum value and the RMS value. So maximum value, we know it is either given or it can be recorded from the circuit, and RMS value is the heating effect. right? Heating effect produced that value. So we are clear with all this, form factor, peak factor, we know all this. Now, IRMS and I average. So this expression is used for a sinusoidal waveform. Now what is a sinusoidal waveform? Sinusoidal waveform is nothing but the waveform which is used for those waves, the waves that we discuss in the first part of this video, right, where we expressed all the amplitudes and the wavelength. That is a sinusoidal wave. So for a sinusoidal wave, there is a particular value of IRMS and there is a particular value of I average. So for IRMS, the value gets derived into I max by root 2. I max is the maximum current by root 2. And for the average value of current, it can be it's derived as maximum value of current by pi by 2. All right. So this can be expressed for V also. V RMS, V is the voltage. So RMS value of the voltage is equal to V, the maximum voltage, by root 2, and V average, that is the average value of voltage, is equal to maximum value of voltage by pi by 2. So this is a fixed expression for your sinusoidal curve. All right, are you familiar with this? Now let's incorporate this concept or this expression and find out the form factor and the peak factor of a sinusoidal curve. Form factor. We know what a form factor is. Form factor is the ratio between RMS voltage or RMS value and the average voltage or average current or average value. All right. Now, this is the expression of form factor. Now let's break it even more simpler and find out the individual expressions. IRMS, we have the expression maximum current by root 2. I average, again we have the expression, it's maximum current by pi by 2. Upon simplification, we get 1.11. For a sinusoidal curve, the form factor, the value of the form factor is 1.11. As simple as that. This is a constant value, it won't change. It remains the same throughout. Now peak factor. What is a peak factor? We know that it's maximum current by the RMS value of current or maximum voltage by RMS value of voltage. You know, it's the ratio. Now let's simplify it even more. Let's write I max. I max is the constant. There is no further equation for I max for further simplification. Instead, we can simplify IRMS into I max or maximum current by root 2. Now, I max and I max, the maximum current and maximum current can get cancelled and the root 2 moves from the denominator to the numerator. What is root 2, guys? 1.414. That's the value for root 2. And it is also the value for peak factor of sinusoidal curve. So is that clear? So here's the end of part 1, and let's learn more challenging concepts of AC current in the next video. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.